Why is it so unbelievably easy to put other people on a pedestal? Why is it so easy to see none of their flaws and faults, to just assume the best about them, to have the best of intentions about them, to believe that they're better in some way, and that not just that they're better, but that they're better than us? This is a trap that so many people fall victim to, and they end up falling into this trap where they put someone on a pedestal. They have this idea that this person is this wonderful, amazing, magnificent human being. And then they get to know the person. And then they start engaging with the person and interacting with them. But then they start to notice the flaws. You start to notice, oh, this person isn't perfect. Oh, wow, this person isn't anything like I thought they were. Oh, wow, this person just hurt me significantly. And then the pain and letdown happens. But then another person comes in, oh my God, no, but this person, but this one, no, but this one, they're actually amazing. And the cycle just perpetuates. Why do we do that? Why do we struggle so much in seeing people accurately? That is what I'm going to be diving into today in this video. The real reason you keep putting people on a pedestal, and what can you do to stop? What can you do to actually start seeing people more accurately and more clearly so that you're not engaging in these destructive patterns over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? Because it's obnoxious. There's nothing more obnoxious than repeating the same cycle time and time again, not getting the lesson, feeling like an idiot, but then doing the same thing. So that's what I want to help you with, and that's what you're going to get from today's video. So I actually walked through a client with this the other day. I've been working with him for a couple of years now, and we're starting to get into the thick of some stuff. He's having a hard time in his marriage, and he's not really attracted to his wife anymore. They never really had a great marriage, but now they've been together for a while, and he's just noticing all of the things that he swept under the rug are starting to come back out again. He's not able to run away from them and avoid them and ignore them anymore. And since things have started getting a little bit worse, he's found himself fantasizing about an ex that he used to have. This woman that he used to date, that he can't get her out of his head. He has her on this wild pedestal. She was amazing. The sex was, oh my God, I never felt so loved. I never felt so wanted. It was spark and fireworks, and it was just, oh, and I'm not feeling that in my marriage. And I was like, this is a pretty serious problem. I'm not judging you. I get it. Like when we're having a hard time in our marriage, when we're having a hard time in our job or in the city we live in or with the car we have, we start fantasizing about having something else. It's a normal, natural thing. What's going on there? And so we were talking about it. And I said, I think there's a couple of things happening here. And I think there's a couple of things that you're not really seeing. And I walked him through these three real reasons that I'm going to dive into here. So what I told him was, number one of the biggest things that's happening is you're underestimating your own value. When we put someone else on a pedestal, so when we assume that somebody else is better than us, there is automatically a dominance hierarchy happening where this person is now somehow above me and I am below them, which means I have to fight to get up to where they are. Or a lot of the times what happens, unfortunately, is, oh, this person's above me, I'm down here, let me drag them down to where I am. Because I don't actually believe I'm capable of going to where they are. So let me drag them down to where I am so they shrink and now we're actually compatible. That happens so many times. It's not even funny. It's really sad, but it is something that happens. So with this client, he wasn't doing that. He was doing the first one. He had this vision of this woman that she was just chef's kiss, beautiful, capable, competent, whatever. And I said, it really sounds like what's happening here, and not just with this woman, but in your marriage as well, is you're not seeing yourself clearly. How do you see yourself? And he starts rattling it off, and just instantly, I'm not good. I'm bad. I can't do this. I'm not capable of this. I don't believe I can fix this. I feel embarrassed because I keep doing these bad habits that I shouldn't be, just rattling off the list. And I said, it sounds like that's number one, the biggest problem that you're having here. You see yourself in such a negative light that of course you're going to start building out this fantasy of another person. Because if you can't change you, if you're so bad you can't change you, you're going to try to escape the negative feelings, escape the harm, escape the challenges into fantasy. That's why doom scrolling is a thing. That's why swiping on dating apps is a thing. That's why movies are a thing. That's why drugs and alcohol are a thing. That's why addictions are a thing. When we are in significant amounts of pain because of the bad feelings we have about us, we lean toward escape. So what I had to have this client do, and step number one for you to overcome underestimating your own value, is start identifying, what are you doing well? Where do you do things well? What's actually good about you? And there's going to be this part of your brain that comes up and goes, nothing. Okay, that's probably not true. So when that gets bypassed, when you're like, okay, I hear you and I hear that it's safer to believe that there's nothing good about me. But if we were to put that to the side, what is good about me? What can I do? What is possible for me? You start listing it out. And if you actually start seeing yourself as a better person, why would you put someone else on a pedestal? You wouldn't. When someone's on a pedestal, it means they are above you. But if you start actually recognizing your own value, yeah, maybe this person has skills that you don't, but that doesn't mean that they're a better person. So you wouldn't put them on a pedestal. And this ties directly into number two. Not only do we underestimate our own value, but we overestimate the value of the other. He had these wild ideas about this woman, about how amazing she was. And she was beautiful, and the sex was incredible. And I've never felt like that before. And I really started asking him, I was like, okay, tell me about the relationship. Like, yeah, there was these great things, but like, tell me about her. What'd you like about her? His jaw kind of hit the floor after that, because he was like, she was kind of awful. And I was like, yeah, probably. I said, tell me some other things about her. And he was like, she was so selfish. There was a couple of good things that she did, and I'm noticing that I'm just blowing those values up. I'm taking those couple of things and I'm expanding them so much. And for you, you're probably doing the same thing. You're seeing a couple of good traits and characteristics about this person. And because number one, you feel so badly about yourself, you're doing number two, which is you're seeing the values that they have, or the skills or the capabilities or these traits or whatever. And you're assuming that this person has something that you don't. You're assuming that this person is something that you're not. And so again, you get caught in the fantasy. Well, if you're bad and this person's amazing, then of course you're going to get caught in this idea of, oh my God, what if I would be with them? Oh my God, what would it mean about me if I could be with them? How amazing would my life be if that person chose me? If that boss chose me? If I could live in that house? Oof, my life would be extraordinary. We're overestimating the value of that person or that thing, assuming that it is somehow way up here and that we're either not capable of it or that we have to burn ourselves to the ground to achieve it. And that ties into reason number 3. We get caught in the fantasy of the what if to escape our current lives. This client has been really unhappy in his life for a really, really long time. He didn't actually want to be with his wife, but he felt a sense of obligation to be with her when they met. He got caught up in the story of, well, we met and this thing happened and that thing happened, so we should probably be together. And then they ended up getting married and she has kids, and now he feels like he has to be a father, and all of these challenges started to happen, and he's like, I don't think I ever wanted this. I don't think that this was the life that I would have chosen for me if I could go back. And so many people end up experiencing this. Women who get into marriages that they regret, people who start jobs that they can't back out of now because they signed a contract. You buy a house that you thought you would have wanted and you're like, oh my God, I wish I never did this. You get a dog and it's like, I thought this would make me happy, but it didn't. We all do this. We underestimate our own value. We overestimate the values of others and the skills and capabilities and competencies and whatever. We overestimate their worth. And because we feel so bad about our lives, we get caught in the fantasy and in the chase of, if only I can get better, I can get that thing that I'm overestimating, and then I'll be happy. Then I'll feel better. Then I'll be capable. Then I'll be wanted. Then I'll be whatever. And it's never true. You will never be happy when you're chasing a fantasy. You will never be happy when you're running away from the life that feels misaligned for you. You're putting people and places and things on a pedestal as a way to escape the life that you do not believe you're capable of evolving through or getting better for or changing. So it's easier to get lost in the sauce than it is to actually have to acknowledge, okay, I really don't feel good about myself. I really do not like my life. Or I don't believe I'm capable of being with the kind of person that I want. And I don't believe that I'm capable of change. So I'm going to focus on other people. I'm going to assume they're better than me. And I'm going to go chasing after that, because if I can get that, then maybe it means something about me. And then that letdown happens that I talked about in the beginning. You will put this person on a pedestal. You chase them. You end up being severely let down, and your self-worth plummets. So here's what I want you to do instead. And this is what I told this client to do. When you start fantasizing about somebody, When you start having this idea that this thing, this person, this situation, whatever, is so much better than you, that you could never be that, you could never have that, you could never, whatever that thing is. I want you to ask yourself some questions. And these are the exact questions that I asked him and that I want you thinking about for yourself. Where did she suck? What didn't go well? How did you feel back then? When the challenges were happening, when the fights were happening, when the circumstances weren't this fantasy, but when it was actually the reality. How'd you feel? Assuming nothing changed, assuming she stayed exactly that person, do you actually think you would have been happier with her? What mistakes did she make that felt untenable, but you were just ignoring? This is how the fantasy continues. We're ignoring the reality. We're staying stuck in the fantasy. We're keeping them on the pedestal because we're not actually seeing it clearly. So what I just walked you through is something called Socratic questioning. You're asking yourself questions to see the situation from a different vantage point, to get different answers, to give you the real truth of the circumstances. And when you can do that, you'll see yourself, others in the world more accurately, and you'll never put another person on a pedestal again who didn't actually earn it. But you'll also realize that just because someone has more skills than you doesn't mean that they're better than you. It doesn't mean that they are inherently a better person than you. It doesn't mean that they're more deserving of love and life and happiness than you. It means that they have skills, competencies, capabilities, and characteristics that you don't have yet. But that doesn't mean you can't get them. When we fall into the trap of you have it or you don't, this black and white thinking, of course you're going to put someone on a pedestal because they have something that you're never going to be able to have. And you want that. So you're going to chase them. But it always ends up in your demise. You always end up in pain in the end. So if you follow these 3 steps, number 1, you stop underestimating your own value. Number 2, you stop overestimating theirs. And number 3, you address the real challenges that you're having in your life, that you're utilizing this fantasy to help you escape. You can do number 4, which is the Socratic questioning, to help yourself see it more clearly and then make real change. It worked for this client. It can work for you. And if you are somebody who has a hard time doing stuff like this on your own, because most people are, it's really hard getting yourself out of habits and patterns and systems on your own accord. And if you want to be in a group of like-minded people, on the last Wednesday of every single month, my mission partner, Amelia, and I, we host a free live virtual event called Out of the Mud. You can turn your camera off. You don't have to participate, but you can just sit back and listen to what we teach and what we talk about and the stories and some of the lessons and the takeaways, being in a room of other people doing the same. And this month, the topic is beating anxiety, take back control of your mind, which ties in directly to this. Putting someone on a pedestal is a feature of anxiety. So when you can navigate that anxiety, you won't put someone on a pedestal anymore. So the link for that to register will be down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.